In 1990, Philadelphia became the first city in America without access to a state mental hospital. A coalition of advocates, consumers, and families succeeded in shutting down Philadelphia State Hospital, better known as Byberry.
And we were proposing to close Byberry and not have another institution as an alternative.
Everybody in the hospital would be discharged to the community, and the supports in the community would be put in at such a level that everybody could live in the community.
Philadelphia State Hospital was infamous for an 80-year history of patient neglect, abuse, and murder.
My son had been in the hospital for 5 months, and they were about to transfer him to Philadelphia State Hospital. And my husband told my son's psychiatrist that he would rather see him dead than in a state hospital.
But the decision to close Byberry caused bitter opposition.
There was opposition from some of the parents who had sons and daughters at Philadelphia State Hospital. They had seen attempts before to provide community services for their sons and daughters, and they had failed before.
We felt that the state and the city were being very naive in that they didn't recognize the severity of illness that many persons living in Byberry had.
If we began to think of people as people first and mentally ill second, we'd run a better system.
This is a story of how age-old attitudes toward the severely mentally ill were challenged and changed. It's a story of how government can fail miserably and how government can work miracles. It's a story about the right people at the right time, fighting for the right thing. But mostly it's a story about the difference between this and this.
All hospitals for the treatment of mental disease have many problems. Sometimes we despair of ever solving them.
Problems common to state hospitals throughout the country.
With 2 student nurses and maybe 3 attendants, we have all we can do to bathe the patients, get them to cafeteria, take them to the doctors, give them their medications, and try to keep the place clean.
And I'm the psychiatrist out here. I'm one psychiatrist for over 600 patients. What can you expect?
By the late 1950s, most state hospitals had problems. Overcrowding and lack of money prevailed. At that time, Byberry had 7,000 patients. Because the new drugs worked so well, governments began to discharge patients with an eye to Governor Casey calls a halt to the closing of Philadelphia State Hospital. The same day, a 3rd discharge patient attempts suicide in the river. 2 weeks later, a 4th is found dead in the water.
We needed to go back to the drawing boards and see whether or not we still were on the right track.
One thing that that's taught them was that there really were some very sick people here and some very aggressive kind of programming needed to go into place. You can't discharge people and then develop services. You need to develop the services first.
At the Myeongdong Catholic Church, no one today was critical of the Park regime, as hymns and prayers were offered to Park's memory. In some respects, an irony, as Park's forces had raided this same church more than once and arrested several opponents of his strict government. Bill Redeker, ABC News, Seoul.